Good morning, Tallahassee. It's time to wake up War Chant on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hajavandi and Corey Clark.
It's all right. It's all right.
I would disagree. It's not all right. But it is Wake Up War Chant time. We'll try to make the best of it. He's Corey Clark. I'm Aslan Hajavandi, the Director of Digital Media for WarChant.com. He's the senior writer. This show brought to you by For the Table Hospitality, and there are three pretty awesome locations over in the College Town District. They include Central, Madison Social, and Township. Go ahead, check them on out. This weekend would probably be a really good time. Get a little bit of the flavor. I'm sure some of the folks from spring break will be filing back into town. Should have a good little buzz as the Noles take on Missouri in opening round action of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. But let's go ahead and just get it out the way. Florida State lost to Florida last night, 12-6 in McKethan Stadium. That is the 11th time in the last 12 meetings Florida State has lost to the Florida Gators in collegiate baseball. 5th in a row, I want to say. But again, 11 out of the last 12. But 11 out of the last 12, so that would then not include. See, I thought the last time they had won was the bat flip from Quincy Neaporte.
The bat flip and then Carlton's shutout in the Super Regionals 2 years ago.
So if that's 11 out of the last 12, that's the win, right? Because that happened after Neaporte.
Yeah, Neaporte, then they lost all three. Yeah, that's right, because Neaporte bat flipped, then they lost the two. Because they met them again in the Super Regionals that year after the bat flip. They lost those. They lost all three in the regular season. The follow in 2016. Then he had the shutout, and then they've lost, what is that now, 6 straight times since then. Either way, it's not great. It's not like you're losing to St. John's or St. Francis. Florida's really good, but there's no other team in the country that could play Florida State baseball 12 straight times and win 11 of them. I mean, Florida State's good. They have good players, too. It's just you wonder if it's like a head thing now. They're in their head a little bit. Also, they're really good, but, they just don't play well against that team.
Why are you attacking the parochial schools?
I don't know. I don't know why I went with the Saints there. That was kind of odd. It's an odd thing for me to do.
I mean, listen, if they would have won the game, I wasn't going to book my hotel to sleep in Omaha, so I'm not going to get too down on them losing. It's just, let's just stop it. Let's figure something out here. Let's just stop losing to these guys.
Yeah.
It's pretty annoying.
Especially because you had a nice lead. Yeah, but it's not like Andrew Karp is chopped liver, man. I've never quite understood that saying, by the way, the chopped liver. Is like regular liver supposed to be better? Is that the meaning of that? Is like, I don't want chopped liver. Give me regular liver. Because otherwise, liver's terrible. So instead of saying chopped liver, couldn't you just shorten it and say it's not like he's like liver? You know what I'm saying?
The expression that chopped liver was traditionally served as a side dish rather than a main course. The phrase, therefore, may have originally meant to express a feeling of being overlooked.
Oh, okay. I see you. So like like mac and cheese or something, or like a casserole?
Yeah.
It's not like he's a squash casserole.
Boom.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's better number 4 starter than most teams.
But I don't even think he made it through 4 full innings.
No, he got shelled, and they got it. They gave him a 4-1 lead, and you like him to go right back out there. Applin hit the 2-run homer to give him a 4-run lead or a 4-1 lead, and then he immediately goes out there and essentially gives up the game. They scored 7 runs in the 5th. Scalaro came in, didn't really.
Oh no, he did not have a good.
He shouldn't be in that role. I don't. Not that I don't really get. I really don't get worked up about midweek games. But, you can't start depending on that kid every time you need 3 or 4 innings. You got to find some other arms and trust them. Put him in that spot. If you lose, you lose, which you did anyway. But you don't need to bring him in the 5th inning of a midweek game.
Yeah, no point. Save him for the weekend. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, those are more
defined role.
But that's what I don't like about the series is, quite frankly, the series this weekend against Notre Dame really is more important than when you play your rival. It just is. And I don't like that. I wish they could figure out a way to do it like Clemson and South Carolina, where they play in 3 different cities on 3 successive nights, and you get to see each team's best starters.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you could pull it off, too. Gainesville to Jacksonville to Tallahassee's nothing.
Yeah, Jacksonville
daunting.
on a Saturday night. I mean, that would be pretty awesome. So, but they don't do that for whatever reason.
Yeah, 4 home runs hit last night, 2 of them by Red Applin. Cal Raleigh had a dinger, and then I think, was that Mendoza's first of the season?
Yep, which was good to see. He's had a nice year, but he also had, I think he had a double in that game too.
Triple shy of the cycle, but did he not have some miscues in the field? I wasn't able to watch the game. Most of it, I only saw the last 3 or 4 innings.
Who was, man? Who was, Aslan? Who was? Is SEC Plus? What is the SEC Network Plus? Because they had to show softball instead. And Lord knows ESPN's not going to show, or, Fox Sports doesn't do it anymore. So, baseball fans, the college baseball fans out there, it's a real hard time to find college baseball on your TV. I can't imagine why the number 1 and number 6 teams in the country would not be broadcast on the SEC Network.
2 and 7.
Is that what it was? I'm calling them 1 and 6.
That's fine. All right. That's fine.
It's the War Chant rankings I was going by.
The Clark Power Rankings.
Yeah.
CPI.
Yeah.
CPR. Ooh, CPR, the Clark Power Rankings. We should roll that stuff out right there.
Yeah, CPR.
So that's that. They'll play Notre Dame at Hauser, 3-game set. Try to get above the Mendoza line in conference play because they're 1 and 2.
The Drew Mendoza line.
The Drew Mendoza line.
Yeah, they need to really kind of sweep that series.
That would be nice.
Definitely need to win 2 out of 3, but you need to sweep that series. You need to feel good about yourself again. You don't like losing streaks, so you're going to have some in baseball, but that's 3 in a row now.
Here's the thing, though. The things that happened last night are the things that we consistently complain about. I think they had some bad defense, had bad running on the base paths. Why do these things continue to happen? And I don't want to be the overreaction guy. And I'm not saying that so-and-so's got to go or so-and-so's got to get the job. But whenever it happens, I really hope they conduct a national search. That's it. I mean, I'm not saying that.
We're going. Sorry, we're going there right after the Florida game. We're going to the.
Well,
we're going to who the next head coach is
No,
going to be.
well, I'm just saying because what is going to be the massive change that we're going to see if the family crest keeps its reign over the stadium, which I have nothing wrong with. I think obviously you can't complain with what the offense has done. But just bring somebody else. Let's just see what's out there. Let's see if there's any ideas. Some new drills maybe that they can do in practice where they won't root balls. Maybe some things where they know how to run on the base paths. I mean, the game was out of reach, but they I think the first 2 batters walked, and then Salvatore gets a piece of one of the ball, he gets a piece of one of the pitches, and actually has a blooper out to shallow right field. Guy's charging in for it, dives and misses the catch, and then Bornegal just sleeping at first base. Base. It falls, and he had no shot of even getting. Why are you not hanging out in no man in the middle of the base paths and seeing if it's going to fall and then retreat back, and if it's not, go to so you'd have bases loaded with no outs. Now you got runners on the corner, 1 out. Again, doesn't cost you the game, but these are the things that happen now, but they also happen in June. And that's the crazy thing. I don't know when it's going to stop. I guess we're just going to think that it's going to stop one of these days.
Well, I mean, I would say, we watch one college baseball team, and so we see all the errors and all the base running mistakes. Man, it happens everywhere. I mean, it just does. I think what has made Florida so good in recent years, aside from the pitching, which you can't really say aside. I mean, it's ridiculous the arms they have and they run out there. But they're really, really good fundamentally. They're a very good fielding team. There aren't many like them, though. There's not a lot built like that. And I think Florida State, just by like every other college baseball team in the country, has those crazy, boneheaded plays. They might have a couple more, but I think that's just we don't. It's not like we watch. We don't know how TCU runs the bases, or LSU, or Cal State Fullerton. And I think when you talk about, it's not like this program is struggling. So,
but is this what it's going to be then?
Well, I mean, what it's going to be is you get to Omaha and actually win your first game. Give yourself a chance but getting to Omaha and getting to the super regionals, that's your goal. You know what I mean? And they always do that. So eventually, again, there's it's got to change. And when they win their first one, they're going to win 6 in a row. I'm telling you, they're going to win 6 in 8 years. They're going to go on a UCLA Wooden-esque, and just go crazy.
I got a question to ask Corey because he's all about life being on a timeline. Anything can happen, right? Life is the timeline's flat. On a long enough timeline, anything can occur. I'm going to ask him if one or the other could occur. What's going to likely occur first? I know that makes sense.
It didn't. I can't wait to understand to decipher it.
Well, how about this? You stick around.
Okay, I will.
And we'll talk about it next here on Wake Up War Chant, ESPN 97.9 Tallahassee.
WarChant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source, knows now is a time of true excitement for Nole fans everywhere. That's why WarChant.com is especially proud to announce its newest team member, senior writer Corey Clark. Combine Corey's expertise with owner Gene Williams and managing editor Ira Schoffel, and WarChant.com boasts nearly 50 years of experience covering the team you love. It's Taggart time in Tallahassee, and that means now is the perfect time to sign up for your free 30-day trial. From National Signing Day to March Madness, WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
Rumor has it Corey Ghost wrote that with John Bon Jovi and the New Jersey Turnpike back in 1986.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Man, that song speaks to me.
Yeah.
Crazy how much that song speaks to me.
Was that the anthem at the high school you went to? Like the girls just knew about Corey Clark?
Oh, no, I was in middle school back then, man. Well, I don't know. Maybe when that one came out, I was in high school. But we were more of a Living on a Prayer, obviously. That's their hit. Not Bad Medicine.
All right. One song that would never be played again. Sweet Caroline or Don't Stop Believin'. If there was one song you could eliminate from the world, from
Sweet
the universe
Caroline.
forever.
There's Caroline. That's an easy one, man. I just don't get it with that song. I think, did you ever see Beautiful Girls, the Uma Thurman movie? And there's a bunch of people in there that you would know. But in that movie, they have a sing-along with Sweet Caroline. And that's the first time I ever saw it. Natalie Portman's in it as a young girl. So it's like 1994, 5-ish. And then all of a sudden, that became like the sing-along song for the country. And Neil Diamond's a crazy racist. And I just
Is
don't
he
like.
really?
Oh, no, it's a Will Ferrell.
Oh, sorry. I'm like, jeez.
You ever saw his Will Ferrell when he did Neil Diamond and he did the storytellers behind the music? And when he starts singing They're Coming to America, he's like, yeah, I wrote this for my intense hatred of immigrants. It's really funny. Will Ferrell's a very funny person.
He is.
Yeah.
I love Will Ferrell. Well, I bring it up because I remember when I was in college, you go like the Yannis on a Friday or Saturday night, and they'd always would play Living on a Prayer.
Yeah.
And then like Piano Man. I'm like, why? Like
Piano Man, really?
That'd be like the last song of the night they would play. But the thing is, now you go to bars and they'll play Living on a Prayer, and 19-year-old kids at a bar will start screaming Living on a Prayer. It's like, that's not your song. Don't co-opt that. Go sing, Lil Uzi Vert or whatever you kids listen to.
So when you go on your Twitter dates with the 20-year-olds, they're not allowed to sing Living on a Prayer?
They're not allowed to sing Living on a Prayer.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm allowed to do it. Got to put the rules down. All right, so this show brought to you by For the Table Hospitality. They play the best music all the time, nothing but the hits, at their 3 great locations over in the College Town District, Central, Madison Social, and Township. From the previous segment, so I'm overreacting.
What's the timeline? What's the timeline here?
Well, no, it's not a specific timeline. It's just for forever. So I went ahead and tweeted it out, and I think it's actually at 50-50 right now on my Twitter. But it made me think of, what you talked about. Like, it's going to happen. Like, one of these days it's going to happen, which, yeah, I mean, eventually you would think Florida State is going to win.
The Red Sox won the World Series. So did the Cubs, for crying out loud.
Well,
now, it took 100 years,
right?
112 years, but it happened.
Well, they've had the first 4 playing games, and Radford beat Long Island, Brooklyn, and they interviewed the coach afterwards, and they were like, congratulations. Asked a couple, nice questions about his program and building it up, and they're like, what do you do to get your team ready for Villanova? And I liked his answer. He just said something along the lines of, but the great team. Jay Wright's a Hall of Fame coach. But I like my guys. I like the juice we have. I like who I have. I like my team. And I'm like, yeah, that's a spirit you want to have. That's a spunk you want as a 16 seed. So what's going to happen first? It's got to happen eventually, right? A 16 has got to beat a 1.
You're going to ask a 16 beating 1 or Florida State?
So what is going to happen first? A 16 beats a 1 or Florida State wins the College World Series?
Man, come on now. I'm friendly with Mike Martin Jr. and Mike Martin. He's a very good man and been very good to me. I'm going to say FSU baseball is going to win it. So the difference is there's 4 chances each year for that to happen. Florida State only gets 1 chance a year, so the odds, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they've been going on for 40 years.
I know, but how many 16s versus 1s have there been? There's been 130 of them. I don't know. There's been 2 that have come close that I remember.
And Princeton
almost beat Georgetown with Alonzo Mourning. Lost at the buzzer. Maybe they missed a shot at the buzzer. And then North Carolina was in a close game with a 1 seed. So I don't know. I guess it happened in women's. The women's that happened one year. Stanford lost to I think Princeton.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that look for?
What look? I had some in my eye.
Oh, okay. Good.
I got these long eyelashes. It was
I
on my
understand.
eyeball.
So it's going to happen. I don't think it'll happen with 11, but it will happen.
Wow, that was kind of. I didn't want you to go that strong of a take.
Well, only because now the odds are really against him now because he only has, a finite amount of time left.
Right. All right. Well,
I guess he could coach to 100 at this school. Apparently, that's just what happens.
All right.
The basketball coach is 70.
Let's put a bookmark in this. Maybe I'll bring it back up on Friday. I want to talk about seeds and long shots and upsets in March Madness and how it ruined me one year. But we'll get to that maybe on a Friday.
Oh, okay.
Go off on a high note.
All right.
Fun. I don't want to ruin people's Wednesday.
Right.
I'll just drop the bomb on you guys on a Friday, and you guys will be fine. We'll be doing it live in Nashville. We'll be in Nashville doing that program. The Friday edition of Wake Up War Chant will be in Nashville with the Renegade Express. Folks, get on over to warchant.com. Hop on the Tribal Council. There's a thread up top that says Renegade Express. Click on the thread. Submit your question, your vitriol, your pot shots, your praise, whatever you want. We'll air it. We'll talk about it Friday on the program.
Somebody was really mad at me, apparently, because of the way I pronounced Xavier. And he said it's Xavier.
Is it? I thought it was X.
It's Xavier. But my point is, if you want to be Xavier, make that thing a Z, my man. If you're going to throw an X in front of a word, Daddy's going to call it Xavier. So I'm not going to get, you can try to go against big grammar if you want, but Xavier it is.
Xavier. Yeah, I go with that as well.
But it's pronounced Xavier.
Somebody actually was saying that I was pronouncing names weird. I think
Hawaii. How do you say Hawaii?
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Are you supposed to say that? I can say Hawaii.
Yeah, I say Hawaii.
Are you supposed to say Hawaii? I want to try because we got a guy. We have a guy that's legitimately in Hawaii, listening to us. I want to, I want to do right by him.
On Hawaii.
The crazy thing is, Dan Le Batard is Cuban. Dan Le Batard never goes over the top. He's not like the thing that always blew my mind when I was a little kid watching Telemundo is like I'd be watching soccer and then you'd have some nice little news program with.
Right,
fairly
voluptuous
attractive women talking about the news, and they would just be like, Corey Clark, and they would just go straight Spanish. But when they have to say like an Anglo name, they'd snap back into their into the American dialect. Like Dan Le Batard never goes that way. Dan Le Batard never goes like Jose Batista. He never just rolls R's or anything like that. But how would he pronounce the last name of the coach from Oregon?
The coach from Oregon?
Yeah, who used to play at Miami?
Oh, Mario. Is it Cristobal?
See, I think I said Cristobal.
Oh, Cristobal. Like Cristobal.
Like Cristobal. When do you say like Mario Cristobal? When
that's probably how his grandparents say it. I
anglicize it a little bit.
Yeah, now you got me.
See, I think Ira says
Mario Cristobal. That's how I say it.
And I think Ira says that, and Ira's got the Miami lineage, so he knows best.
Yeah,
I'll defer to him.
Cristobal. Yeah. All right.
I said Cristobal. Sorry.
Cristobal. It's fine, man. That's cool.
All right, let's pivot off of that and maybe talk a little bit about football. So you had the running back story that's posted on warchant.com.
That's right,
5
baby.
things you need to know, but don't tell people the 5 things. You have to pay for that, so you got to earn that stuff, folks.
Right.
Earn it. So we disagreed about this yesterday. I wasn't able to dive into your statistical analysis. I know you're the big analytics guy now, right? You're part of big analytics.
That's what I'm known for.
So this is my thing. I don't know. Cam's going to get the ball a bunch. I think Jacquez Patrick will get the ball a decent amount, but I don't know. Does Kalen LeBourne, did you come to Florida State? Zaquandre Wright, did you come to Florida State? Deontay Sheffield to touch the ball 4 times? And I know you got really good guys in front of you. And I don't know if I think it's a problem. I know maybe my head's in the wrong place. Maybe I'm thinking with my heart too much and not my head. How do you have 6 guys on? 7 if you count this Anthony Grant kid they're bringing in.
They really he's good, too. If you watch his film, it's pretty ridiculous.
How do you have 7 guys on? And listen, I know running backs get hit, they get dinged up and that kind of stuff. But listen, man, unless Cam Akers' leg falls off, it's Cam Akers left, it's Cam Akers right, it's Cam Akers up the middle. Like, how is this all going to work? And then you're going to pull him off the field? I feel like Cam Akers didn't come to Florida State to share the carries either, I don't think.
Oh, well, no, but he also didn't come to carry it 42 times, so he'll be fine with 22, 23. The thing I did was, Royce Freeman, I think, the guy at Oregon, I think he averaged 22 carries a game for Taggart, and he had over 23 carries or more 6 times in a game last year. Akers never had 23 carries once. So I think Akers would like those kind of at-bats. So I think Royce Freeman might have had 1 game of 30 carries. But he had a bunch of 23 to 29. somewhere in there.
You're really good with that. That's right. We had one game with 30 carries against Wyoming.
Yeah, so
Wyoming.
But I mean, I think Akers would be just fine with those kind of numbers. But that still represents about 55% of the carries. So those other 45% got to go other places. And, that's just how – I mean, I think most of them will go to Patrick. I think LeBourne will get some. I also think LeBourne will get more next year when Patrick leaves. I mean, it's all a depth chart thing, too. Like the Anthony Grant kid probably won't touch the ball this year unless he's like a Warwick Dunn phenom that just rises up the depth chart real quick. But in a couple years, he might. He might, and I think Rasul has and I also think he's going to play two at a time a lot. It's not going to be the traditional fullback. Apparently, they moved all the fullbacks to tight end anyway.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a bunch of tailbacks in the backfield. So, I mean, there will be time on the field for some of these guys. But, yeah, they don't – the thing about these dudes that it's hard for us to relate to – well, me and I should speak for myself – is they're so confident in their abilities. Anthony Grant, I'm sure, thinks that he's going to be splitting carries with Cam Akers by the middle of this season. That's just how those guys are wired. They all believe in themselves. They've all been super-duper stars since they were 9 years old. And that kid just signed with Florida State out of Buford High School, which is one of the better high school football programs in the country. He's not coming here to sit. And you don't want a kid to come here to sit. So he thinks he's going to play. He's wrong, but he thinks he's going to play. And maybe next year he does get on the field. That's how you build the depth. They probably have one too many.
But, like, Patrick's going to leave.
Yeah, and okay. Akers is going to leave the next year.
But he's back in 19, though. So, like, if you're Kalen LeBourne, you're a redshirt sophomore, and you're still second on the depth chart. At best.
Yeah, but again, second in the depth chart here could be 150 carries.
But, again,
that could be 11 carries a game. That's not bad.
We talked about Willie making his offense cater to what he has in terms of the talent on offense. Now, I don't know. I would like to think that James Blackman or DeAndre Francois or Bailey Hawkman is better than the third or fourth string quarterback at Oregon. So does he go to such a run-heavy sort of philosophy, if he's got a guy like James Blackman spinning the ball fairly fine? I'm not saying that he's going to drop the guy back 45 times like a madman, but is he going to have the wherewithal to be like, all right, whatever, I'll be good with letting him drop back 15 times and we'll just run the ball 50 times? Or they're going to have so many more. They're going to have so many more snaps.
Yeah, I
think
it's just going to be. He's hoping to run 88 plays a game, and if he runs the ball 55 times, that's still 33 passes, which is plenty.
How does that happen?
How can
you run that many plays?
They ran plenty over 80. They had plenty of games where they ran over 80 plays. That's the norm. Watching Florida State run 61 plays was the exception to the way college football is played now. So I think he wants both. He'd like to, throw for 250 yards and run for 250 yards. I mean, wouldn't everyone?
Thing. Exactly, right. All right, let's talk more about football, possibly. Maybe dip into some basketball. We'll talk about something. That's what we do. It's what we're paid to do. We're pros. I'm semi-pro. He's real pro. It's Corey Clark. I'm Aslan. It's Wake Up War Chant. Coming right back.
You're locked in to Wake Up War Chant on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Good song, but the cover is even better. That's not the Adamant version.
That's not, I was going to say, that doesn't sound like the Adamant
It's got
version.
a little punk edge to it.
Yeah, it does.
That's like the band of my youth, Unwritten Law.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out to those guys, Still Torn. I saw them in Tampa like 2 years ago. They're just all fractured. They got this guy filling in for that guy and stuff.
Well, that happens as we get older.
Indeed. It's Wake Up War Chant. I'm Aslan. He's Corey Clark. This is ESPN 97.9 Tallahassee. Program brought to you by For the Table Hospitality. There are 3 awesome locations. Where at, Corey?
Man. Wake up, War Chant. Wake up.
No,
you think
where are they?
It's
College Town.
You got
no, I was asking where
College Town.
Where
yeah, of course. They're Tallahassee in Florida. Tallahassee, Florida, by the stadium.
I think is that technically Gaines and Woodward? I think it's what it technically is. It's like a Gaines and Woodward. But yeah, 3 awesome locations: Central, Madison Social, and Township.
Okay. Yep.
I like those places. All right, let's dive into the feedback. We won't do the Renegade Express, but we post the daily threads on the Tribal Council, alerting people to the fact that there's a new Wake Up War Chant episode. And this is where the previous, not rant, but the previous sort of conversation went from. Heisman 20, he spells Heisman with a Z instead of an S.
like I do with balls.
What is it with Aslan's pronunciations of some of the names? I've heard him say names interestingly before on a program, but his mention of Coach Cristobal?
Mario Cristobal.
His mention of Coach Cristobal had me cracking up since it reminded me of a Key and Peele substitute teacher skit. Like A.A. Ron. A.A. Ron.
You done messed up, A.A. Ron.
Also, before Corey.
Balake.
Yeah, Balake. Also, and I should proofread this stuff. Also, before Corey, ask if I was 20th runner-up for the Heisman. My username is derived from my fraternity nickname number and last name starting with a Z. I wish I was still 20. Not too far off that if my wife left me and I created a Tinder account, it would be creepy to have 20 as my minimum age.
Good. At least somebody else agrees with me on that.
He says he's going to leave us a 5-star.
I'll believe it when I see it. Heisman 20.
Yeah. Screenshot posted on the board so I can prove it.
So there weren't 19 other Heismans. He just did it for that was his number in intramural flag football or something.
All I can say now is also before Corey asks if I was a 20th runner-up. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense now. All right, shout out Heisman. Sorry. Heisman? I should have pronounced the name a little bit awkwardly or whatever to
yeah, that's what you do. That's your shtick.
Yeah, that's my shtick, right? All right, so Cam Akers is going to be really good. All the other running backs are going to be happy. It's going to be a harmonious situation in the backfield.
Man, no, of course not, but you don't care. What do you care?
I do, though.
Dalvin Cook wasn't happy. Dalvin Cook wasn't happy when they played Oklahoma State. And he didn't get a carry. He didn't get a carry that meant anything until Syracuse. It was halfway through the season. That's just college football, man. They're not going to be happy, but you got to be ready when you're going to play. And if you can't play here, if you can't get on the field, who cares if you're happy? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. That's the thing. I'm so inconsistent, I think, in my belief system. Like, I can be so heartless and cruel and apathetic towards players getting paid. I'm like, hey, I would take your gig when I was 20. I'd rather been you than me. Working at FedEx, slinging around boxes and packages. I'd rather put on the pads.
You worked at FedEx?
Yeah.
What was the uniform? What is the uniform at a FedEx?
I worked on the dock, so we just handled
okay.
So yeah, I just had to wear shoes.
Aslan used to work on the dock.
That's right. Yeah, it's good times. All of my friends at one point worked there too. It was the perfect college job because it was like the outbound shift, so all the pickups that they made, they'd bring it back to the dock or whatever. So we'd only work from 3 o'clock to 7:30. So it was perfect.
Oh, yeah, it was perfect.
And I remember when they played Clemson 2002 Thursday night, we all had to work, but we all brought beer, and we had this ice maker machine. We all put our beer in there, and
you couldn't get over to the stadium for the start of the game?
No, I missed the first quarter, I think.
Oh, but you went to the game after that.
Oh yeah,
it was a good game.
Yeah, Greg Jones had a really good run.
He had that crazy run. He threw 9 guys off him, and Leon Washington had a kick return for a touchdown.
I want to say that was the last Thursday night game in Doak because apparently there was all this chaos about getting to class the next day, parking. Blah, blah, blah.
Maybe it was because BC was a Friday night game, right? Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good times. I was there for that one. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. So, some kids, they want to go on strike, and Jay Williams is telling the kids to not play the Final Four, and I'm just like, man, just play, man, have fun. Your life's not that bad,
right?
But then when you bring in 4 quarterbacks, and I don't know. Maybe you put on mom and dad, what are you doing letting your kid go to a program that already has 3 quarterbacks? Son, I love you. You're my kid. You're my little slugger. But you're probably not going to start with a guy who's 6'5", 225 pounds. So I don't know. When I see these kids commit to us, I mean, I'll give the deference, obviously, to the coaching staff, but why bring that sort of drama on you? I guess maybe it's not drama to them.
And I don't think it's drama with running backs, man. I mean, honestly, you're going to have 3 that play, 2 that play a lot. Quarterback is where the drama is, but again, only one of them can play. And all these guys think they're going to come here and be a starter, and you want that. I mean, you're getting some of the best players in high school in the country, so of course they're going to come here and think they're going to be a starter. But and I do think that kind of competition in practice makes everyone better. So I get what you're saying that I guess you worry about the harmony of 3 guys. Why I'm not getting mine? Why can't I get the ball?
Well, just like Kalen LeBar's from Virginia Beach. I don't think he came to Tallahassee, Florida to get the ball 7 times.
But let's see what he does this year. He might be awesome.
What was he doing last year if he was awesome? Was he not awesome last year?
I mean, you've seen Jimbo with freshmen. It took Jimbo 6 games to play Dalvin Cook. Just, Cam Akers, he got in there, and he's not as good as Cam Akers. He still might be awesome. So, if he gets 10 or 11 carries this year, a game, which is a big if. But if he gets 10 carries a game this year, that's 130 carries.
Like Amir was in front of him. Like Amir Rasul's going to get thrown by the wayside. I mean,
we'll see. But again, you can't. I mean, I guess the way you look at it is you can't worry about. You're worried about who your best players are, and if Amir Rasul can't beat out Laybourne, well, that's still your team's still going to be good. You know what I mean? Like they can't all get carries, but they know that. But he's got to earn it, which is good. Rasul's not a bad player, so if you can beat out him, you're a pretty good player. You're just not going to beat out those top two because they do so many different things, and they're both really good and established. But you can still get on the field.
What we need to ask, we need to put on the list.
I mean, Greg Jones. You just mentioned Greg Jones. Did he really play until he was a sophomore, a junior? I feel like he was behind. So. You know, I just that's part of the deal.
Yeah, Travis Minor, those kind of guys are getting the reps. But
Travis Minor, Jeff Chaney, he couldn't get in front of those guys, so he didn't really play until both those guys left.
But I think it's so different now, man. I mean, which sounds crazy. That was only, 15 years ago, 16 years ago? Just it's crazy that – and listen, I don't think the coaches sell these guys false hope. I think they all get the same, we like you, we're going to give you the opportunity. You come in there and you prove that you've got what it takes, and we're gonna get you the reps.
Imagine if
that's all they want to hear. But it's like can't you be a little bit introspective and look at yourself like, man, I just don't.
Imagine if you were recruiting Anthony Grant, the kid that's from Buford, the running back, and you told him, "Hey, man, I don't know what all these other schools are telling you, but you can start for us first day you get on campus. I envision you being the starter. You're going to start for us first game against Virginia Tech. You're probably going to get the first carry," and he believes that. Would you want somebody that dumb on your football team? He knows he's not beating out Cam Akers. He's seen the depth chart and he's seen the highlights. He wouldn't buy that even if you sold him that he was going to. You wouldn't want a kid that would believe something that dumb.
But they all buy into just, listen, nothing's guaranteed.
Well, no, that's true.
Come and earn your job.
He can earn playing time.
There's five guys in front of me.
But you can be better. Warwick Dunn was literally sixth on the depth chart when he got here. He's behind Marquette Smith, who was the USA Today Player of the Year, Sean Jackson, Tiger McMillan, and Tiger McMillan got hurt, blew out his knee, and then the depth chart loosened up. And then he was better than Marquette Smith, and he was actually better than Sean Jackson. But when he got here, he was a fifth-string running back. He just wanted a chance, and he got it. He was really good. If you're good enough, you'll get on the field. That's just how it works. Jalen Ramsey came in to a loaded secondary and started the first game as a freshman. These guys all think they're that. They aren't. But they think they're that, and those are the kinds of guys you want to recruit. I get what you're saying. Like if you're Anthony Grant, but where's he going to go? Georgia? They're loaded too.
Virginia Tech?
Yeah, maybe Virginia Tech. LeBourne maybe could have gone to Virginia Tech or Virginia, but he wants to. He really thinks he's going to be something here, and he might be. It's too early to give up on that kid for sure.
I'm not giving up on him. I just figured that with the way things were going last season, so sideways, it would have been like all hands on deck. Anybody who can help give this team a spark.
I think there might have been some off the field stuff and just getting adjusted to college life and getting adjusted to not being a starter that he struggled with. I will say this: in the open practice we saw last year, he was really impressive. He's got huge thighs, but he moves. He's quick. He's
thick
big, thick lower half, which I know you love. And I just think he's going to be a good player. I do. I mean, I was really impressed by him. Now, maybe he won't be a good player here, but he'll be a good player somewhere. Remember Eric Shelton? Does that name ring a bell?
I remember Eric Shelton. I remember Hollywood Henderson.
Shelton
went to Louisville and balled out.
It was Hollywood Clayton.
Sorry.
And Leon Washington and Lorenzo Booker all came in the same class. And Shelton transferred.
I don't know. I guess I'm steep. I feel bad because I know it's not going to end well for three of those kids probably.
Right.
I feel bad.
Ryan Green. Ryan Green never did anything here. Jimbo talked him up for 4 years. And he's apparently a great athlete. He just can never get on the field here. That happens at places like Florida State.
Quote, good problem to have.
First world problem. Hashtag.
First tier problem.
Elite football
program problem. What's not a problem is taking a break right now. We'll come right back, wrap up the program after this. It's Wake Up War Chant, ESPN 97.9 Tallahassee.
You're locked in to Wake Up War Chant on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
What's up, everybody? I'm Aslan. He's Corey. It's Wake Up War Chant. You're they're more than halfway through the work week, right?
Well, no.
Creeping up there.
No, they got to get through halfway through the day. and then they'll be halfway through.
I'm
40% of the way
terrible.
through.
I really should quit my job and just spend 6 months going over remedial math.
Yeah,
Just
to function.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I'm terrible at it.
you're not great.
I'm not. I'll wear it. The show brought to you by For the Table Hospitality. Tip them 20%. What you do is you double the first number of the check, and then that'll give you 20%.
There you go.
I do know
this
that.
day and age, just get out a calculator and do it, man.
You know, actually, I when I had my iPhone back in the day, I actually bought a tip calculator, like an app.
Oh, really?
Like a dollar app. And then my friend's like, "You're such an idiot. Just put
Yeah, if it's $32, just what's
$6."
yeah, it's $6.40.
Some people are like, "Well, just you should round it up to 40, and then tip them 8." And I'm like, "Chill out." But that's a whole other conversation.
But if they're terrible, you don't have to tip them.
Don't, man. Don't push me here.
If they're terrible, you can give them 8%. I had 2 nights ago, I had a waitress that if I had been paying the bill and I wasn't because I left my card, I didn't have my card. I pulled that old gag.
Yeah, nice.
I can't find my
Smooth.
card. I left it somewhere.
Proves her loyalty. Does she stay or does she run away?
She might have gotten a 10%, maybe, because she was just awful, and we were the only people.
But it's not her fault.
We were the only people in the restaurant.
It could have been the back room. It could have been
No.
cooks. It could have been the expo.
No, she never came back and was like, "Hey, I'm sorry it's taken so long," or "Here's your Coke that you asked for 12 minutes ago." So, no. I mean, if you do a good job, I'll tip you. I'll go over 20%. I'm very generous. But if you do a terrible job, hey, man, this is how the world works.
No, they're making $2 an hour. They live off their tips. You must give them at least 20%, Corey. Have
This
you
is
no
like
heart?
this is the Reservoir Dog scene.
Just don't push me down this
right.
this path. That reason and the whole dog thing is probably why I'm going to
Hey,
die
learn
a
to
lonely
type.
man.
If you want more money, learn to type. Again, ladies and gentlemen, that is a line from Reservoir Dogs when they have an argument about tipping a waiter. I don't believe that. I would never say that, but it's a funny movie.
Speaking of Reservoir Dogs, really surprised there wasn't a bloodbath after the statistical
Good stuff, man.
bombshells
That might have
I
been
was
your best
dropping.
one yet. Sorry, I was interrupting your point.
It's fine. My segues need to get better.
That was a good one.
You know, I figured out the guy who I won over by helping him out with some tech support. I'm off the team again. He's like, "Man, here you go again. Just when I thought you were all right, you killed me." More Jimbo love and Willie hate. I didn't say anything good about Jimbo.
I hope not, because there's nothing good to say about that guy.
I just simply
Looks good in a cowboy hat, I guess.
was concerned about the statistics
Actually,
that I referenced, but then you
What
shot him
statistics?
down.
Which one?
The fact that they led the nation last year in
Oh, yeah,
penalties
yeah.
and the sacks allowed from Michigan were
The thing about
110th
the
worst.
latest Jimbo picture with the hat is he's got
Why are
he's
you
got
doing
the
this?
hair like he doesn't have his hair pulled back under the hat, so he's got like a little tiny thread of hair coming down. It looks crazy.
I don't want to talk about this.
All right, hey, we can talk about basketball.
Let's do that, I guess, right? I've tried to talk about football and segue there, but Corey wasn't having any part of it. You blocked my shot like Ike Obiagu. Ike?
IKEA Obiubu. Let's do my Aslan impression. Obiagu.
All right.
I talked to him today. I talked to him yesterday. He's a tall dude. The whole time he was talking to us, I was literally putting my foot next to his. My jeans are too baggy and too long, or I was going to take a picture
Yeah,
of my
come on.
foot.
Why you cut your jeans like you're 20 years
I
old in
know.
2006?
It's ridiculous.
Knock it off, man.
But I was trying to put my foot next to his so I could take a picture and you could see the difference.
What happened?
I couldn't get it. My jeans kept covering my foot. But his feet are just enormous. He's probably still growing. But also, he's played the Michael Porter kid before.
Oh,
okay. He played him in the Nike Hoop Summit.
Right.
And I was like, what do you
NYDL.
remember about him? And he goes, he can really shoot. So that's probably not great news for Florida State.
Well, yeah, because they
did
aren't good
lose, but the thing is
guarding
they
the
lost
perimeter.
their
second leading three-point shooter.
I think Missouri, 45% of the field goal attempts they have this year are three-pointers, which isn't a great recipe for Florida State. But they did lose the one kid that's their second-best shooter and their second leading scorer.
But Michael Porter's now.
Michael Porter
back.
will probably take his place, but you wonder, okay, he's played one real game, so that's a lot to be at. I mean, he might go for 34 and 12.
Gosh, that'd be a bummer.
But I am looking forward to seeing him play. I mean, before Bagley and before Trae Young, this was the guy. This was the guy that they talked about above all of them. And then he got hurt and kind of got forgotten. But he's going to be a lottery pick. He's going to be a top 5 pick. And Leonard was actually asked about him on Tuesday, And he was asked if it was hard to scout for him because he's kind of an unknown since he hasn't seen him. He goes, "Oh, no, he's known." He goes, "We've known about him for 2 years. He's been number one player in the country. He's a lottery pick. He's a top 5 pick. We know all about him. He can really play. He can go left. He can dribble. He can rebound. He can shoot. He can go with either hand. So he had a whole scouting report just from watching him in high school.
Well, I saw a video of him against, who did they lose? Did they lose to Georgia in the SEC tournament where, he didn't seem to – he couldn't really elevate as much as I think he normally probably could because he's obviously dealing with this back injury. So hopefully maybe Florida State won't have to give him as much respect on dribble drive stuff, and they can kind of protect the perimeter a little bit better.
Just crowd him. Make him go to Obiagu and Kumaji and see if he can score over those guys.
Yeah.
And he might. I'm sure he can, but make him do it.
Phil Kofer was saying that they're going to have to lean on their defense, which was a kind of refreshing thing to hear him say. I don't know if that's just player speak, but can this team go back and reassert that identity that they really haven't been a part of? This is what
not this late in the season. No, you got to hope they miss threes. You can't. It really is a big deal to only have one. There's only one other guy on their team that averages taking it even another. Those two guys account for 75% of their 3-point attempts. Barnett, and then I can't remember their leading scorer. I should, but I can't remember his name. And Barnett's not playing, so. You really have to. It's all. I envision them guarding Mizzou like they guarded BC, where they just made the Robinson kid. They just didn't even want him to touch the ball.
Cassius Robertson.
There you go. So they're going to just try to make sure he can't get loose for threes, and they don't have to worry about anybody else shooting threes except probably the Porter kid. And if he makes 5 or 6 threes, then man, what are you going to do? You tip your cap and you get him in 2019.
Cassius Robertson literally shoots better. Both, no way. All right, just Robertson does. Robertson literally shoots better behind 3 than he does from the field.
Yeah. And the other kid, look how many threes they took between them. It's nuts.
233 for Robertson, 198 for Barnett.
So 431 threes between 2 players in 30 games. That's what
substantial sum.
14 a game between those two guys?
Why are you making me do math? You know how I feel about that.
I could be way off. I think I didn't carry a 1 in there somewhere. But I think it's 13 or 14 3-pointers they combine to shoot a game.
Well, what do you think is the most free 3-pointers that somebody on Florida State has attempted?
Has attempted?
Yeah. How about they'll give you 160 over under?
Ooh, I would say under.
Good job. Brian Angola, 158. That's the most on the team.
And they have 2 guys they have 2 guys around 200. Yeah.
No, they got Robertson shot 233, and then Barnett shot 193, and then John Tate Porter 106.
And that's the Porter kid's brother, older brother.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So, but he's not a great shooter. But so, man, getting rid of a guy that is not getting rid of him. He had a DUI and can't play. But the fact that guy is a guy that could go for 6 or 7 3-pointers. He's they were a lot like the Boston College. Those guys, they lived by the 3-pointer against Florida State. It's like one of those Boston College guards not playing.
Well, here's the thing though. So finally, let's say Florida State finally does get, the horseshoe.
Of course they could lose by 25 points. This is all
no way
speculative.
No, I think
I would be surprised if that happened, but you never know, man. They just, they might go through one of their stretches where they can't throw it in the ocean.
Well, my thing is this. A team that relies that heavily on shooting the 3-pointer, let's say they struggle through the first half. They're not going to struggle for 40 minutes shooting from, so I don't know,
they're going to hit 10 or 11 threes, even if they don't shoot well, I would think. But again, that guy, they're so used to that guy taking 8 a game, and he's not even there. That you wonder how that's just going to throw off the whole rhythm of the rotation, the whole rhythm of the starting lineup. It would be like not having Angola or having Terrence Mann. It's
like we saw in the Pitt game, right?
Yeah,
Angola was Angola and Mann there?
Angola and Mann didn't play, so losing that guy is a, and especially in an 8-9 game. You got that's if Florida State can't figure this one out again. Everything comes down to if Michael Porter looks like a freshman that's only playing his 2nd or 3rd game. If that dude looks like the top 3 pick in the draft, he could win a game almost by himself. He's that talented. He is a Bagley, Trae Young type of guy that can take over, but he hasn't done it at the college level. And you would be surprised if he did it for the first time in the college level in the NCAA tournament. against the Leonard Hamilton coach team.
And this isn't a guy who's been suspended. This is a guy who's been hurt.
He's been hurt,
so
yeah.
He's been putting in the work for the last 3
So you got to imagine there's rust there. But either way, Florida State should, you would hope, win this game. And then they just got to beat, Xavier. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Well done, Corey. That was a wrap on the program, and this is a wrap on the program.
I love you guys.
Jeez. He's Corey. I'm Azon. Jeff Cameron's coming up at 3.
These recruiting updates are nothing but fluff.
Are you wasting your time again on free blogs and social media to get the scoop on FSU recruiting?
Yeah, it's all bait and switch. Get me excited with a headline, but get nothing in return. You're on warchant.com. What's really going on with FSU recruiting?
Could be another top 5 class, but for the real scoop, you'll need to get your own War Chant subscription.
What's it cost?
Free. There's a 30-day trial offer. Just sign up and you'll get full access through signing day. And nobody has more accurate and timely information on recruiting than warchant.com.
You know I like free. Sign me up. warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole source.